Good morning. My word, that's quite loud, isn't it? So good morning, everybody. And a very warm, if a little wet, welcome to Centre Parcs, Sherwood Forest. We're delighted to be welcoming members here at the venue and also an online audience, joining us from across the length and breadth of our trading area. Now, before we begin, we need to cover some housekeeping for both our in-room and online audience. For those at the venue, there is no planned fire drill today. So if the alarm does sound, please make your way to the nearest exit located around the room. The assembly point is next to the bike park outside the front of the venue. For those joining us online, in the unlikely event we experience technical difficulties, please bear with us and follow any instructions provided on screen or in the chat. Well, if the technology fails, we will revert to votes from members in the room who will be asked to hold up their white voting cards. In accordance with the Society rules, sufficient members are present in person today to carry the motions listed in the agenda. Throughout the meeting, we'll be asking you to vote on important matters. Here's a short film explaining the voting process.
We'll ask you to vote on important matters during the meeting. Voting is easy. Let's show you how. For members joining us in person at the venue, the motions will appear on your voting device screen during the meeting. The presenter of each motion will tell you when to vote. Press 1 to vote for. Press 2 to vote against. Press 3 to vote abstain. You'll receive a notification to let you know your vote has been received. To cancel your vote, press the X button. You can then change your mind by pressing another option whilst the vote is open. If you need help, please raise your hand and a member of our team will come to help you. For members joining us online, when the vote is open, the voting button will appear in the navigation bar. Choose how you'd like to vote. Your selected response will change colour and a confirmation message will appear to indicate your vote has been cast and received. There is no submit button. If you make a mistake or wish to cancel your vote, simply reselect the correct choice. You can change your mind while the vote is open. If you need help, please check the voting help document in the Documents tab. After the motion opens, a countdown timer will appear on screen. The vote will close when the timer runs out. That's it, you're all set. And remember, if you need any help voting, raise your hand and we'll come to you.
If you've joined the Society within the last 6 months, or you are under the age of 16, you will not be eligible to vote today. But as member owners, we look forward and encourage you to vote at future meetings. Okay, so now let's put the tech to the test. For this vote, we would like the kids in the room to take part. The question is, would you like to meet Cooper, our co-op bear, today? Please cast your votes on the keypads here at the venue or on screen at home now. Adults, you may wish to help. The vote is now closed. Thank you for voting. The good news is Cooper the bear loves Centre Parcs and he is here today. So, keep your eyes peeled for him a little later on. Now, later in the meeting, we will also be hosting a Q&A session. Thank you to members who have taken the time to submit questions in advance. We will also be taking questions from the floor and from our online audience. For those joining online, please make sure to submit your questions as soon as possible if you haven't already done so. Our executive leadership team and board will be around over both lunch sittings and will be more than happy to answer any additional questions you may have. Our first agenda item is to receive our half-yearly report. And to give you an overview of our trading performance and strategic direction, I'd like to welcome our Chief Executive Officer, Alison Hands, to the stage. Alison.
Thank you very much, David. I think we could have changed the Cooper bear because my dog's called Cooper too, so it could have been the bear or the dog. I think the bear is more preferable, to be honest. But anyway, let's see how we go. But good morning to everybody. And I just want to say it has been another busy 6 months for all of our colleagues. We have still had sales in growth by 2% on the previous year. That has been driven by food and fuel at 2.4% and property at 14.6% on the previous year. However, we have missed our sales budget by 2.5%, which has mainly been driven by the food and petrol businesses, along with travel. But even with increasing costs due to the national living wage, and with poorer trading performance in food than we had planned, we have managed to control costs well, which has resulted in our trading profit measure, which is known as EBITDA, hitting our budget for the first 6 months of the year. However, this was 13% down on the previous year, with the drivers being an additional 2.3 million of personnel costs, of which 2.1 million was due to the increases driven by the additional pay increases negotiated for our colleagues. With the increasing costs, particularly further rises in national living wage and national insurance contributions that will hit from April, and the required level of investment in the society over the next few years, although we will continue to offer cashback on purchases, we won't be able to offer a cashback bonus at the end of this year. Our financial focus needs to be on investing to grow the society for our long-term sustainability. Although our food business has not hit the budget we set, it is worth noting that in a challenging retail environment, we have seen sales growth over the last 2 years at 14.5%, and have continued to be above the national grocery market trading performance. We opened 2 new food stores through this period in Laceby and Scatha, as well as completing 4 cyclical refreshes in Branston, Roman Bank in Skegness, Lincoln Road in Sleaford, and Wygate Park in Spalding. This has meant an investment of 5.6 million into our food business, and these stores are seeing improved performance and positive customer feedback. We intend to continue with this significant investment to ensure our local communities are served in well-maintained branches. Our pharmacy business has continued to grow, with sales up 0.6% on the previous year, although the costs associated with pharmacy and the continued challenges around NHS funding have meant our EBITDA was down 11.7% on the previous year. However, the new funding model recently announced by the government gives us an opportunity to improve the profitability of pharmacy. This area continues to be a strategic focus for us, with care for the community through pharmacy and extended services into rural communities. With the new funding models, we believe this is where Lincolnshire Co-op can help to bring solutions to communities. Our funeral business has seen growth in sales by 1.4% on the previous year, with its profitability improving by 52%, primarily driven by strong cost controls. Our travel business has had a more challenging sales period, with sales down by 1% on the previous year. We are seeing less customers, but they are spending more on big holidays, whereas the family holidays market at lower prices is in decline. This appears to be yet another indicator of cost of living pressures, but the business here has controlled its costs well and has seen profitability growth of 34.5%. Post office is another area where we continue to offer a valuable service to our local communities, and the sales are up 1.7%. We are waiting to see how government will improve this funding model after many years of us subsidising this service for the local communities. We did make a loss of $153,000 here in the first 6 months of this year, which is a small improvement on the same time last year. Our property business has had another good year, with its EBITDA up 19% on the previous year. Income from the recently renovated Barbican property in Lincoln city centre has been a key driver of that. Our continued investment into the society enables the long-term growth and its sustainability, and is focused on our foundational infrastructure, with the primary focus being within IT, where we have invested $1.5 million over the last 6 months. Our focused spend has supported new food ordering systems, improved Wi-Fi capability into our food branches, improved tills and systems in pharmacy, a digital payroll system, along with improving our cyber security systems. The importance of this has been evident in recent months, with numerous cyber issues within the retail industry, and we are focused on ensuring we do our best to protect our own systems and data. Our focus on our communities that we serve is at the heart of everything we do, and this gives us our unique proposition for Lincolnshire and the surrounding area. We believe it is important to continue to support key activities, whether they're large or small scale, whether it's an increased number of wellbeing walks, or our support for breakfast clubs across the region, our community cuppers, or our support for local food banks, seasonal toy gifting, or sanitary and toiletry banks. By working together, we have supported the health and wellbeing of so many local people across our trading area. I was personally privileged only 2 weeks ago to see a further development in our wellbeing walks, which has been done in collaboration with Boston United Community Foundation and the Boston United Supporters Association, and has given 50 walkers and 10 new walk leaders the opportunity to get walking and talking, and even on occasion with the players themselves. Here's a short video to highlight the current developments.
We started talking about wellbeing walks last year with Boston United. They were looking at ways of improving wellbeing for people in the area, and we started talking about wellbeing walks. We were able to think about how we could help them with training funding and also getting it set up.
We want to use our fan base here at the club to create a bit of a buzz, to probably go out on these walks, and without them sort of knowing that the hidden impact factors of like the mental health side of things. So an opportunity to engage our fan base, our fan generation with the first team, it's been a massive opportunity and a great one of that.
We have a mix of ages. We've got younger people coming on the walks, which is quite an interesting move away from perhaps our normal demographic in some of our other walks. We've got walk leaders from a whole broad range. We've got people that work for the Boston United Community Foundation. Then we've got volunteers from the Supporters Club who are very active in this, and they are ranging from people that have been here for years and some younger volunteers as well. You've got people that haven't been going out. They're on their own at home. They might well have issues where they've lost their partner, or they're on their own and they're not getting out. And this has been a real hook to get them to come out and walk. It isn't just about walking, it's a shared interest in sport and football particularly that's bringing them out.
The friendships and engagement is massive to what we do. It just gets people talking. For them to now understand, actually, if I was to do this walk by myself, it would take forever. It would seem like forever, but because we're walking and we're talking, it passes the time a lot quicker, and it's loads of hidden impact elements. That is why these wellbeing walks are so imperative to the local community.
The lady over there that wanted to clap, you can clap. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you at the back. Right, okay, we're equally looking forward to a new major community project coming in the summer of 2025 with our foundational partnership of the Grimsby Youth Horizon Zone, which will bring much needed support for young people at the start of their life journeys. As well as supporting communities across our trading area, we also think it's important to help further afield. Along with other cooperatives, we've donated £10,000 to the Disasters Emergency Committee Myanmar earthquake appeals. Try saying that on a Saturday morning. Supporting efforts to provide life-saving aid such as food, water, shelter and medical supplies to those affected by the 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Lincolnshire Co-op, its members and colleagues seeks to bring ideas, energies and resources to make life better in our communities. And this can only be realised by ensuring we continue to grow and remain sustainable for the future. This requires us to continue to invest and manage our business effectively whilst mitigating the continued volatility around us. I'd like to thank our members and all our colleagues for their continued support. Of course, this has been especially important over the past few weeks, with our food stores feeling the effects of the Co-op Group's cyber attack on their deliveries. We also suffered a fire at our own store at Netleham at the beginning of May. These incidents have proved to be further examples of how our amazing colleagues work together in challenging times, and the support that we've had from the members and communities has been truly appreciated by all our teams. Thankfully, we're starting to get into a better shape and our deliveries are starting to get back to normal now, which hopefully you're starting to notice when you're shopping in our stores. That overview brings me to the vote, item 1, to receive the half-yearly report. Please, can I ask you to cast your vote on your keypads now? Thank you. The votes from today's motions will be displayed at the end of the meeting. As I said earlier, investment in our society is key for our growth, and I'd love to show you now a short film looking at some of the investments we've made recently.
As a co-op, we don't stop. Our communities need us, and that's what we're here for. I've been at Lincolnshire Co-op for 12 years and the store refresh was in February 25. The customers absolutely love it and they like to see the store being invested in. The store seems so much bigger and more spacious and we have more product in store as well. I now have a new store at Scartho with new ones opening soon in Coates and other areas. It's nice to see communities getting new stores too. We're also in the process of rolling out new digital edge tickets. The days of manually printing out price labels will be gone, saving colleagues a lot of time on the shop floor, allowing us to focus on providing a great service to our customers. Pharmacy doesn't stop either.
We have been busy launching new services, allowing us to help our local communities more, from providing oral contraception to treating minor illnesses. as well as refreshing our over-the-counter products. We are in the process of reimagining what the pharmacies look like, and we cannot wait to share it with you. Colleagues are at the heart of everything we do, and we don't stop investing in them.
The Lincolnshire Co-op have supported me completely through my degree, and I'm very proud to be here graduating today with the first class honours.
Bachelor of Arts with honours, professional practice in leadership management. Michelle Louise Dart.
I did it! I finally did it! I am super proud. This has meant everything to me over the last 4 years. All thanks to Lincolnshire Co-op for letting me have this opportunity today.
I think it's important that our colleagues recognise what an important part that they play in the success of the Lincolnshire Co-op. Because I think it's really important to shout out about the people that really go that extra mile for the Lincolnshire Co-op and for their communities. I just felt immensely proud, really, really proud. Tomorrow we move on and we continue to invest in our people and in our society so that we continue to grow, because that is what will keep the Lincolnshire Co-op sustainable for the future. That's horrible seeing yourself so big. Anyway. That's just a taste of the investment we're making into our society, our services and our people to make sure that your co-op can sustainably deliver purpose beyond profit today, tomorrow and always. And we look forward to sharing even more news with you at the annual members meeting in December. Thank you so much for listening. I'd like to now introduce you to our Society President, Richard Wills, to talk to you about our plans for membership, which is item 2 on your agenda. Thank you.
Good morning, fellow members. Whether you are joining us from the comfort of your own home or are here with me in the room, I would like to thank you for joining our half-yearly members meeting. We gather as owners of the Lincolnshire Co-op. And it's our chance to make our views known by voice and vote on issues that affect our business. But here's the rub. It may be democracy, but we are just 1,000 this morning, representing 300,000. So we are representing that wider membership, taking decisions that will affect us all. That's quite a responsibility for us in this meeting. And I really do thank you for being willing to do that on behalf of the whole society. That's also democracy. I want to draw your attention to one matter in particular. The retail sector is going through a tough time at the moment. We're all of us, being careful with our money. Our trading costs have risen, as you've heard, but we've not raised our prices as much as our costs. Therefore, our profits are reducing. And lower profits mean lower dividend paid through cashback for us as owners. But we are absolutely focused on maximising the benefits for members despite these current challenges. Now, the directors you appoint or elect face this dilemma every time you meet. How do we know what 300,000 people want? Truthfully, we don't always want the same thing. And our job is to exercise judgment for the good of the whole society. And actually, that's what we're doing today. As members, we are regular customers of the co-op. But of course, we have customers who are not members, and they are vitally important for our commercial success. It's in our interests as members to keep our customers happy. So, if we're happy, our customers are probably happy too. But it's best to make sure. And a tried and tested way of getting a reasonably reliable picture is to undertake shoppers' surveys. And that's what we've done again this year. A survey of members and non-member customers. And I think you're going to find the results interesting. And Laura Dunn, our Chief Purpose and Proposition Officer, will now take us through the 2025 research findings.
Thanks, Richard. Good morning, everybody. Oh, thank you. As Richard said, I'm going to take you through the results of our recent survey and what's happening with our membership since we last updated you this time last year. Firstly, it's great to see that over 17,000 new members have joined us since we relaunched Cashback in September, which is an 8.4% increase. We now have over 306,000 members in total, and we really want to see this number grow. The aim of moving to use the term cashback instead of dividend was to go with a more widely used term and to attract more member sign-ups. And this is working for us, and we plan to continue with this. We've also got 65,000 members now using our app, so they don't have to remember to take their card into store. If you haven't already got our app, I highly recommend that you download it. It'll make your life a lot easier in store. Just go to the App Store on your phone and search for Dividend Card. Since September, members have earned over £1 million in cashback and have spent £2.96 million cashback when shopping with us, quite a total. There is still £4.47 million in cashback waiting to be spent on dividend cards. Of my recent survey, we can see that 27% of our members choose to save this and use it in the run up to Christmas. And 51% use it to pay for their shopping as and when, as they go along. You all know as members which you prefer to do, and we understand that this flexibility is really important to many of you, so we plan to continue with this. The recent research also indicated that of the members who are aware of our Community Champions scheme, 44% of them shop more often because of it. For anyone that is not aware, every time you shop in one of our branches and use your dividend card, a donation is made to a local good cause through our Community Champions scheme, something we're really proud of. Since September, over £288,000 has been raised for local community champions through your shopping, donating in store and buying our compostable carrier bags. We're currently raising money for Macmillan Cancer Support, so please use your card or app every time you shop and you'll be adding to this really important cause, the funds raised. Members have had their say in the last 6 months, with over 13,000 members voting in the board election, which we'll hear about later, and over 4,000 members and customers taking part in our annual survey. We're also asking our members to tell us what they'd like to see in our branches ahead of refits taking place. So look out for that. If you've got a refit coming in a store near you, we'll be asking you for feedback. We want to build that feedback and input into the programme. The good news is we're investing in a new IT system, which I'm very excited about, to support our membership in the future. And that will enable us to get even more relevant communications out to members and ask for your feedback and input more often, which is something we're really keen to do. In terms of member benefits, the recent research showed that 70% of members rank reward every time you shop as the most important benefit. And 65% prefer cashback over member discount pricing if they had to choose between the two options. As Richard said, we must ensure that the benefits we offer are affordable for the society, as they are a share of the profits and sustainable for us to maintain. We understand from this research how much cashback is valued by our members, and we're currently conducting the assessment on whether 1% is affordable for the coming year. We'll keep you informed about this. But as Alison outlined earlier, the board have already confirmed that there will be no cashback bonus this year. In terms of pricing, the recent survey showed that 71% of members are satisfied with the overall value in our food stores. And 59% say that everyday price of items rather than promotions is really important to them. Pricing is one of our key focuses over the coming year, and you'll soon start to see digital shelf edge labels, which which you saw in the video, which will highlight our prices more clearly and make it easier to spot our Co-op owned brand, which does offer the best value in our stores. Although our members are clear that given the choice, the majority prefer cashback, 60% of people we surveyed said that a member discount would appeal to them. So, through our buying group, we are looking at introducing some member pricing in food stores starting next year. This will be funded by suppliers, so we can focus Lincolnshire Co-op funds on paying cash back to our members, albeit this will have to be at a level which we can afford for the society. Really hope you found that interesting, sharing the stats with you on the member survey, and thank you to anyone who participated in the recent research. We really appreciate your input. We'll now hear from Rob Allen, our Group Secretary and General Counsel, for item 3 on the agenda, which is to approve the changes to the Society's published rule book. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura, and allow me to also extend a really warm welcome to all of our members in person and online here today. So part of my role with the Society is to look after our corporate governance, and there are a few matters that we need to attend to as part of today's meeting. So item 3 on the agenda is a special resolution requesting approval of changes to the Society's published rulebook. So in the run-up to today, we've made available a selection of materials explaining what the rulebook is, why we're proposing changes, and how to submit questions. I'll briefly summarise some of the key points again before we formally put this resolution to a vote. So the Society's rulebook is required by legislation governing cooperative societies and is the foundation of all Lincolnshire Co-op's governance practices. It covers a wide range of matters, including the responsibilities of the board and the executive leadership team, the rights of members, how board and member meetings are convened, requirements for the election and appointment of directors, and how the Society's profits are applied. It's best practice to keep the Society's governance documents and practices under review to ensure they not only comply with law, but also remain relevant to the Society's strategic activities. You've just heard from Laura today about the positive steps that the Society is taking to develop a stronger member proposition and provide flexibility in how we deliver member return. But that does mean that we need a rulebook that is both relevant and forward-looking. A number of the substantive changes that we're proposing today will allow us to utilise cashback, but also price and other initiatives across the goods and services enjoyed by you, our members. To ensure members receive the appropriate level of transparency and accountability and assurance, the board will retain accountability at each annual members' meeting to explain how member benefits have been structured and delivered, and how any surplus is being distributed at the end of each financial year. There are also a number of general governance improvements we'd like to introduce, and I'll briefly touch on one of those. So we've listened to feedback from members wishing to stand for election as directors. We are proposing today that the level of spend with the Society that's required in order to stand for an elected directorship be set at £500 over a single 12-month period, rather than the current requirement of £1,500 over 3 years. We're also keen to expand the initial eligibility criteria so that activity outside of spend can be considered where prospective applicants can demonstrate commitment to our purpose and our values. By introducing these changes, we make our board more accessible, inclusive, and reflective of the communities that it serves. We're keen to stress that the changes proposed today in no way adversely affect both the basic cooperative principles and values that underpin Lincolnshire Co-op. These changes are designed to introduce improvements in our general governance and ensure our Society remains sustainable for the long term. The rule changes proposed have also been reviewed by the Society's Search and Governance Committee and approved by our Board of Directors. Support on key provisions has also been provided by the team at Cooperatives UK, the national body, very interested in this item clearly, and specialist external lawyers. So one final check after today will be with the Financial Conduct Authority, who have to approve any changes to cooperative rules prior to their entering into force. The resolution today is what we call a special resolution, which means it requires a slightly high majority of 2/3 of votes cast from those present and entitled to vote today. I hope that's helpful background, and I'm very grateful to those members who've taken the time to consider the materials and submit a question ahead of today. We have been keeping a log of those questions, and the responses are set out on the relevant parts of our external website. I'd now like to invite you to vote on this resolution by using your keypads, please. Thank you. The team are now collating the votes from all of today's voting motions, and these will be displayed very shortly. So it's also my privilege to act as the Society's Secretary, to act as returning officer for this year's director elections. One of the great benefits of membership is the ability to have a say in the board that ultimately oversees the running of your Lincolnshire Co-op. And we've been delighted once again to see a really positive level of interest and engagement in this year's process. The diversity, the skills and experience offered by the candidates on this year's shortlist have been particularly strong. Let me take a moment to thank everyone who applied to stand for the board and to the 7 candidates who ultimately made the ballot paper. We received a total of 13,437 valid votes, and as you can hopefully see on the screens around the room, the 4 elected candidates who received the highest number of votes are Tracey Latham-Green, Jane Moate, Jackie Munn, and Jeremy Hodson. So many congratulations to our new directors, Tracey and Jeremy, on your election to the board. We look forward to welcoming you to the Society over the coming weeks. And congratulations to Jane and to Jackie on your re-election to the board. It's great to have your continued dedication and support for a further term. If you are interested in finding out more about standing for our election to our board of directors, please visit our website or contact the membership team for more information. We'll be donating £13,437 to Macmillan Cancer Support, our current community champion. That's equal to £1 for every member who voted in our Society election. So back to the voting results, which are hopefully about to appear on the screen. I'm pleased to say that item 1 has been approved by members. There was no vote for item 2, and item 3 has also received the required majority and has been passed accordingly. So thank you again for voting today and exercising your democratic right as member owners of our co-op. And I'd now like to hand back to Laura, who's going to host today's Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. Right, this is always the really exciting bit, I always think. So strap yourselves in for the Q&A, everybody. We have received several questions about the cyber attack experienced by the Co-op Group at the beginning of May, how it impacted us and what steps we are taking to reduce the risk of us receiving a cyber attack. So I'd like to ask Ian Heldenby, one of our directors, to come and give some main points about that one.
Thank you, Laura. Well, good morning, everybody. As you are more than aware, the Co-op Group was subject to quite a malicious cyber attack in May, where the hackers made sustained attempts to get into the group's systems. Now, Lincolnshire Co-op is an independent co-op, and we have separate membership systems which were not affected by the attack. However, the group took a number of proactive steps to block the criminals, and this meant a number of the key systems were taken offline. Because we share a buying group with the Co-op Group, this impacted on a number of the deliveries from the buying group which we receive into our food stores. So we have a crisis management procedure in place, and a team of experts came together to shape our response, receiving regular updates from the Co-op Group, whose colleagues were genuinely working day and night to recover the situation. Our teams also made a mammoth effort to mitigate the impact of this major incident on our stores, our members and our customers. In a few days, we'd worked with our existing supplier contacts and our local love producers to boost supply, as well as bringing on board new suppliers. Food store colleagues were incredible. They came in especially or stayed late to accept deliveries, And our fantastic team at Gasbury's continues to work really, really hard to deliver fresh bread into our shops. Now, during the disruption, we also shared regularly updates on the website. There were signage in the stores as well, hopefully alerting customers and members to the possibilities of any shortages. But again, as I say, apologising wholeheartedly for any inconvenience. Co-op Group have gradually started to bring back its systems online from mid-May onwards. From that point, we saw a gradual increase in deliveries into our food stores, supplemented with our own supply. However, the supply chain is a complex one, and it's a lot like when you go to an airport and they have an issue and there's an outage and planes are in the wrong location, etc. It takes quite a few days to get it back, and we need to continue to work with them, and it's going to take a significant period to recover fully from the disruption, especially considering the operational and technical actions the group had to undertake to thwart the criminals. For example, there was a period when Co-op Group actually were unable to place orders with any of their suppliers. So, with the group's support and the continuing actions of our colleagues, we are working towards normal levels of stock, although we appreciate we're still not quite there yet in some of our stores. The full financial impact of the cyber incident has yet to be determined. However, we are considering the avenues available to recover any losses to us. Our incredible colleagues have coped with this major incident brilliantly and have come together to support each other and their communities. And our board wholeheartedly would like to give a massive, massive grateful thanks to all of them for all their work. I also know that our colleagues have been incredibly appreciative of the support they've had from you, our members and our customers. So again, on behalf of the whole board, I'd like to thank you for all your patience and frankly bearing with us. Some of the other questions covered our relationship with the buying group and whether we should reassess this in light of the incident. Now, we were in regular contact with the Co-op Group throughout this time, and our colleagues could see firsthand the efforts that were being made to protect the group's systems and maintain its service to us and its partners. As an independent co-op, we want to ensure we can provide choice and value to you, members and customers, and we believe the best way of doing this is to be part of the Co-op buying group, and we can make the most of that partnership, including the efficiencies and the economies of scale. We were also asked about what steps we've taken to ensure our own cybersecurity, as Alison's alluded to, which is something we take extremely seriously. We have regular reviews of our systems and strict policies in place to help manage the risk of cyber attack. Colleagues across the business are given regular cybersecurity training, and also as part of this, we're revisiting this as we go. Considering recent events in the wider retail space, we have also undertaken several proactive colleague briefings on the areas that we've seen. We've also been getting insight from the British Retail Consortium, and our close relationship and open communication with Co-op Group means we've been able to benefit from their learnings as well following the cyber attack. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. So hopefully that gives us a full answer to that question. So I'm going to do what we normally do in the Q&A. So I've got the questions that have been submitted from the postcards in the box before the meeting started. We've then got our online questions. We've got about 500 people online today. So we'll take some questions from the online audience, and then we'll go to the floor for any final questions in the room. And then you can all go swimming. So, first question, what is this meeting about? And that is from Henry, who I can assume is perhaps one of our younger people in the room. What's it all about, Henry? I will get Richard to come up and explain.
I don't know where you are, Henry, but I will tell you this. There are a lot of adults in this room that go to a lot of meetings, and they would love to ask that question. Whoever brought you here is a part owner of the co-op we've been talking about. And one of the main reasons for being here is because as an owner, you get a chance to have a say. Whether you agree with the board or not, you have a chance to get a say. And if you're not 13 yet, when you're 13, you can become a junior member. And when you're 16, you could vote. And when you're 18, you can join us on the board. But actually, Henry, wherever you are, you've demonstrated one of the main reasons for being here. You can ask questions. But for you, Henry, I think the best is yet to come this afternoon.
Thanks, Rich, and thanks, Henry, for the question. Next one. I live in Lincolnshire but work in Cambridgeshire. Why can't I use my dividend card in Cambridgeshire? And wouldn't it be better to have one that can be used nationally? So I'll get Steve to answer the question about Cambridgeshire, and then I'll come in about membership. Steve Leach, our Chief Operating Officer.
Good morning. Well, the good news is we have got a store in Whittlesea, which is close to Cambridgeshire, and I'm also excited to announce that our next new store is also in a similar part of the world in Coates, outside of Peterborough, and we're always looking for new store opportunities. So from that point of view, there's new stores coming. And on the wider point around membership, I'll hand back to Laura.
So this is one we get asked quite a lot. Every co-op currently has to have a different membership scheme and also different cards that aren't used in other people's co-ops. We understand it's frustrating. We are looking at technological advancements, which means we can rectify and ratify the points and the amount being raised behind the scenes and keep it and be able to use the cards in different stores. But currently we're coming up with a blank on that one. We continue to look at it because we know it's frustrating. But the most important thing to remember is we are different societies. You're a member of this co-op, and that doesn't mean you're a member of another co-op. So we need to remember that. We've got a different board of directors. We're a completely different business. So we need to remember that. And every co-op's got different benefits. Obviously, we do the 1% cashback. Other co-ops do different things. So that's why it's not easy to have the ratification behind the scenes, but it's something we keep looking at. So that's the answer to that one. But we know it's a common issue and a common question. The next one, I can understand the reduced dividend bonus paid at the end of last year as the Society's profit was reduced. However, in the run-up to Christmas, why did the Society stop the annual 10% members discount vouchers and the subsequent 10% vouchers? I'll answer this one. It is similar to what you've heard today. We are having to look at, with the reduced profit levels, how much we can deliver back to members in dividend, and obviously we're calling that cash back now. We understand from the survey and what you've told us that the benefit as you go along is the most important one. So that's the one we're working really hard to retain. But unfortunately, we are having to look at the Christmas bonus, which is what we've announced today, and the other 10% vouchers that we did in the past. It's not to say we won't be able to look at that in the future, but at the moment we're concentrating on sustaining the 1% cash back as you go along, because we've heard from members that that's the most important one. And a last question on the postcards. Having the card on the app is great. Is there any likelihood of it being enabled for Apple or Google Wallet in the future? The answer to that is yes. We are definitely going to do that. So when we relaunch the app, which is in development, it will be part of the Google Wallet and Apple Wallet for sure. Glad to be able to say yes to that question. Right, so now we move to the online questions. First one, will you be extending the vegetarian range? I'd like to invite Steve back on the stage to answer that one.
So the short answer is yes, we are. We will be working through, we've got the commercial team is now fully recruited and in place now. We're working very closely with our colleagues in group through the category range reviews that we do routinely. And each time we go to a store to look at either the cyclical refresh where we update it or a range review, we're happy to bring on any customer feedback. So definitely an area for development for us, and we get lots of really good feedback of the grow range, which is largely our main part of delivering vegetarian. So yes, we are.
Another one for you, Steve, coming up. Why is it that price integrity at my local store is so poor? Many items are incorrectly priced, price tickets on display don't match what you are charged at the till, usually in favour of the store. Sometimes it's by a few pence, but there have been occasions when the difference has been pounds. The issue is well known throughout the village.
Well, first I'd like to apologise, because that really shouldn't be the case. And if anybody who raised that is in the room, please come and find me at lunchtime, because I'd like to correct that quickly within the store. The current processes that we have are all manual. But the good news is, as you've seen on the video, when we roll out our digital shelf edge labels, our pricing integrity will be guaranteed to be 100%. It'll change at a touch of a button and will remove any human error. And clearly the operational excellence is my accountability in store, so if I was disappointed to hear that feedback, but going forward, it'll be much better than it currently is. I'm hoping that's an isolated incident. Thank you.
Next question. I asked at my local store why all colleagues weren't wearing body cams. I was told that some choose not to, but also there is not enough actual body cams for everyone on a typical shift. Why is this? I'll get Steve to answer this one as well.
So we do have a number of body cams in every store, both in food and pharmacy, and we can't force somebody to wear a body cam, but our ambition is to have at least 2 colleagues in every food store and pharmacy that wear them at all times as a deterrent. Sadly, the number of cases of aggravated behaviour and is on the increase, so it's definitely something that we've trained all of our colleagues as to the importance. We've made a big investment in them, and you should see more colleagues wearing them from this point onwards. Thank you.
Okay, next question. Can you clarify why there appears to be a shift in focus away from the funerals and crematorium sector, and whether this area still remains a strategic priority for you and the leadership team? Ask Alison, our Chief Executive Officer, to answer that one.
So thanks very much for that question. Just want to be really clear. Our funeral and crematorium business is still incredibly important to us. Didn't mention it today, but we have got a significant investment that is going on in our Horncastle branch as I speak today. So we're investing currently approximately over £1 million in our Horncastle business, where it was a building that was purchased during COVID, where we're now taking that and making it a truly fit-for-purpose development for the funeral business. And that will significantly improve the experience that our members and all our families and our colleagues have in that particular area. But we're also working on further plans around our total care strategy. And this is part of a business review that is ongoing at the moment, and we will be in a position to talk to you later about that towards the end of this year. So thanks very much. Oh, okay, can't go.
Next question for Alison. In terms of stopping the Christmas dividend bonus, cashback bonus, do you think you will lose customers by doing this?
Right. I don't think so. I hope not. I think it's really important that we are honest and clear with people around what we're doing. But I hope that we will not, and we will make sure that there are plenty of other reasons why people come to visit the Lincolnshire Co-op, which is not just about that cashback bonus. So thank you.
Okay. Do you have any plans to follow the lead of Boots and Superdrug pharmacies in offering a blister pack recycling service? I'd like to ask Alice, our Head of Care, to go up and answer that one.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, so there's clearly a lot of plastic waste that comes with what is a really valued service that we provide to our patients, and we are at the moment looking at our options on how we can work with a recycling company to support that.
Another question for Alice. A local Co-op pharmacy in Lincoln closes for 1 hour in the middle of the day despite having high staff levels. Would it not be possible for the store to remain open all day?
I think anyone that visits our pharmacies see that they are incredibly busy, and it is a really, really intense place to work. It's really important that for our well-being of our teams that they get a mental break during the day. For regulatory reasons, if the pharmacist is having a break, we're not able to continue the service. So it's much more efficient for us to close so that everyone has a break. And then it just means then that the local communities tend to know that we're shut during that period, and we get into that rhythm with it.
One more for Alice. When will a text notifications re-prescriptions be reinstated at the Birchwood pharmacy?
So Birchwood Pharmacy is one of our 22 pharmacies that are currently using our centralised dispensing. Unfortunately, when we move to centralised dispensing, the text messaging system doesn't work. But at the moment, we are considering our options on how we best communicate updates on orders with our customers. And hopefully in the next couple of months, we can address that issue.
Thanks, Alice. Why do you hold these meetings so far away from the centre of your customer base? I'd like to ask Richard back up on the stage to answer that one.
Thank you. Really good question. And of course, one of the issues is as we become bigger in terms of our area, even the centre of our base is actually quite a long way for some people. And we're in Nottinghamshire today in the hall, and of course we do have a lot of stores now in this area and in Nottinghamshire. I have to say it was one of the questions I asked when we decided to use this venue last year, and I was somewhat sceptical, I will say, and of course I was proven absolutely wrong, as often I am, and because this became a very popular venue and it actually filled. And if you're online and you're thinking there's some empty seats I can see, I will tell you that some of the mums and dads have decided that they feel safer at the back of the hall out of camera shot and with their children playing on the floor. So that's one of the reasons why you might see some empty seats.
And can we go back to calling membership benefit dividends, please, instead of cashback?
What's in a name? If you're a traditional co-op person, and you probably see wearing my tie in co-op colours, I probably am, then it is quite appealing to keep those old names, isn't it? But what we've sort of discovered is that our younger potential members, who aren't quite yet members yet, get cash back more than they do dividend. In a way, I think that's a shame, but they do. So one of the reasons for changing that way of putting it is to attract some of those customers who are not yet members to think, actually, I would like to be part of that. And that's actually better for all of us if we can achieve that. And can I just say, while I'm here on the stage, for those who are asking these questions from your home, we're really pleased that you're participating in this way, because I know it sometimes might feel that you're not able to participate in the same way as people in the hall, but thank you for demonstrating that you can.
And one more question from online. What is the Co-op doing to actively recruit new members? Now, obviously, if you've seen in the updates today, we've recruited over 17,000 members since September, so we are doing quite well. Something I'd like to see is we do tend to recruit quite a lot of members, which is pleasing, but we tend to close a lot of accounts as well. So if you don't use your card or your app for 3 years, we close your account, and we have quite a lot of members each year that happens to because they've not used their card. We think a lot of them are still shopping with us, but they're not using their cards, and we have to close them. So that's why our membership teeters around the 300,000 mark. We open 17,000, but we might close 13,000. So that's something for us to bear in mind. So we're really keen that we attract new members, but we also want to retain them. Things like cashback seem to be helping to attract a new audience. Obviously, we're trying to maintain as much cashback as we can in the member benefits and look at all the different types of member benefits we can offer in the future. And getting more members on the app and things we feel is going to really help. So we are working on that. But any thoughts on how we could do that better, we're always willing to hear that. Okay, so that's all the postcards I've got in my hand and the questions I've received online to date, although Emma in the back office is replying to some directly, so they're the ones on my screen. So we'll go to questions from the floor. If anyone would like to answer a question, there are 2 roving microphones, so if you just want to raise your hand, we will get a microphone to you as soon as possible. The gentleman there, and I can see a hand in the middle. I'll go to this one first and then the one in the middle second.
Thank you. Chris Pilkington. There's a sense of vibrancy in the room today because of the presence of so many young children and young people. Now, the cooperative movement has its own youth organisation, the Woodcraft Folk. I think it's celebrating its 100th anniversary today. So my question to the board is the society doing any joint working with the Woodcraft Folk? And if not, would it consider doing so? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. We're not currently, but that's not to say we wouldn't. So if you can grab us afterwards, we'll certainly get some more information about that. It's not something we're doing currently. Thanks.
Hello. We've had recent changes in legislation which mean that people who are transgender can no longer use the toilets to the gender that they associate with. Where the co-op provides toileting facilities, is it thinking of more unisex toilets to assist these people?
In a lot of our branches, we don't actually have any facilities for customers. There are a number of health and safety reasons for that. Where we have, which I'm trying to think off the top of my head, there aren't many instances. It is a unisex.
In the places where you provide funeral.
Funeral, okay.
And you travel, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll take that away and have a look. I think in most cases it's a one facility for everybody, but it's something we're looking at.
And also for people with severe physical disabilities, although you provide disabled toilets, hoists and things, that was my former area of work. And Linda, my friend here, and I would agree with me, there's very few hoists anywhere to assist.
Okay.
If you're taking somebody out, it's quite difficult.
We know that's an issue. I mean, we run the city centre, or an area of the city centre in Lincoln, and we know that public toilets are an issue. We do get feedback on that. So thanks for the question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Someone's on the front. James is on his way to you.
I just wondered whether the bonuses being paid to executives are being adjusted accordingly in terms of the profit levels you've talked about, which have affected the bonus paid to members.
I'll ask David to answer that one, our chair. He's on his way.
Yes, thank you. A very good question. The way in which we operate is that we have a REMCO remuneration committee, which actually assesses the pay which is appropriate for the different posts by looking at those paid elsewhere in other co-ops and also mutuals and other businesses. But importantly, in terms of objectives, we look at the way in which the company has performed and also how the individual has performed. The intention is to make sure we provide an adequate level of remuneration so we can actually retain the appropriate individuals to make sure we can make the business a success, but at the same time, not overpaying them outside of the bounds of what is sensible and reasonable for the organisation. Well, shall I try again? The point of the way in which we operate is to make sure. Yes, of course, if you prefer.
So the members this year are receiving no...
Sorry, just wait for the back.
Yeah.
So the members this year are receiving no cashback or dividend bonus. And my understanding from what was said is that it is directly related to the level of profit and the level with which you want to invest in the business.
That's
so,
correct.
So with regards to not the salary remuneration, but the bonuses that are paid to your executive, have they also been adjusted, i.e. reduced,
yes, they
accordingly?
Have. So the short answer is yes, and they are significantly down from what they were in previous years. Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any further questions on that?
I don't know. Any more questions from anyone else? Raise your hand so I can see you. In the middle there, Abby.
So I know we have like free fruit for the younger children, but could you maybe think of like widening the range of not just apples, bananas and oranges?
We certainly can look to do that, and if you grab us afterwards and give us your ideas about what you'd like to see, we will do our very best. But glad to see you're getting the free fruit we're offering for now. Anyone else? Want to follow that question? I can't see any other hands. Okay, so thank you so much for all the questions. That was a really vibrant Q&A. Lots of questions from online. Sorry, I thought someone was pointing. Oh, is there another one? Sorry, my fault. It's difficult to see right at the back. No questions? False alarm. Okay, so thanks for the questions. We'll be posting detailed responses on our website over the coming days for all the questions we've answered here and any ones that we received online we didn't have a chance to answer. I'll hand you back to David now, our Chair of Board of Directors, to wrap up the meeting.
Thank you, Laura, and to our other presenters today. Now, just before I close the meeting, I would like to take a moment to recognise my fellow board members, Richard Wills and Nicola Berry, who are stepping down from the board. On behalf of my fellow directors, executive leadership team and colleagues from across our co-op, I'd like to thank you for your service and wish you the very best in your retirement. Sadly, Nicola cannot be with us today, and I'd like to ask Richard if he'd like to join me on stage, please. Richard. I'm not about to ask you to answer the questions. It's quite all right. So, can we just present you with that?
You can. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And following on from our election result, I'd like to personally congratulate our new and returning directors on their election success. And that now brings our formal meeting to a close. Now, it just remains for me to thank everyone that has been involved for all the hard work in making today a success. Thanks also to our membership team for organising our half-yearly meeting at this spectacular venue. The team at Lumi for facilitating today's voting and online broadcast, and the Centre Parcs team for their fantastic hospitality. For those of you here at the venue, please make sure to hand your voting device back to a colleague, and if you're wearing a blue lanyard, lunch will be served in a few moments from Huck's restaurant next door. For those, I thought that would get a round of applause, it always does. For those with a green lanyard, lunch will be served from 1 p.m. So why not enjoy a walk around the lake, hope it stopped raining, in the meantime, and grab some delicious samples from two of our newest Love Local suppliers. Or come and see us at Meet the Board area, where we will be throughout both lunch sittings. For those members signed in online, we'll be adding £5 to your dividend card, which will be available from Tuesday, 10th of June, and we hope you enjoy spending it. Thanks for tuning in, enjoy the rest of Saturday, and don't forget to give us your feedback on today's event for the chance to win £50 cashback to spend in store. Look out for the email from us later today with more information. So thank you all for attending. I wish you a safe journey home. Thank you.